So I'm actually pretty surprised it took me 8 videos to finally talk about Star Wars, given it's definitely one of my favorite franchises. It's been almost a year since the last major Star Wars story was released, and something about the end of the year really gets me in the mood for dumb space wizards and Master Chief running around with his dumb little matcha ball. Also, I've already tried this concept of ranking these shows before they come out with Marvel shows a couple months ago, and I had a lot of fun with it. I already plan on revisiting these 2 videos in like a year or so when all these shows have actually released and we can all be mad about them on Twitter. I do feel like I need to provide some context about my opinion on Star Wars, so here's a quick summary. Empire is my favorite movie, I don't dislike the prequels or the sequels, and LEGO Star Wars is the greatest product this franchise has ever produced. Also, I do not know how to read and I refuse to learn, so I have not read any of the Legends books. So I don't know any of these nerd-ass characters that people obsess over. I do not care who Dash Rendar is until they put him in a subpar movie that I watched 20 times and I will not be judged. This channel is now my echo chamber, so everything I say is right. Also, a couple of the shows have already released, so I'll cover those first. That being said, let's get into it. Oh, by the way, if you could subscribe and like the video, that'd be cool. Anyway. I do not care about these clones and Dave Filoni can't make me. I literally haven't even watched this show yet because I just don't feel motivated to find out more than I already know about this little ragtag team of clones. Who even are these clones, by the way? Oh look, there's one named Tech. I wonder if they're good with technology. Ooh, Crosshair, he must be one of them shooter sniper types. A clone named Hunter, I wonder if he has some kind of sixth sense. Hunter, I barely know her. And then there's Wrecker, which is again a lazy ass name for the heavy of the team. Wrecker, I barely know. And finally, there's Echo, who is the main one I guess, and he's half clone and half droid. Dude, this is literally just Halo Reach and a bunch of other war story stereotypes. It just feels so unnecessary. I watched Clone Wars and the story arcs surrounding the clones were rarely that interesting to me, and the episodes that directly tied into the series were pretty whatever. But if you like it, that's good. Whatever, your prerogative I guess. I was really hoping that all these episodes would have ridiculous anime openings, but only one episode really reveled in the weeaboo aesthetic, and that was a little disappointing. If you're unaware of this show because Disney didn't promote it very much, they got a bunch of anime studios to tell Star Wars stories in condensed 20-minute episodes. I honestly really enjoyed most of them, and if I had made this list earlier in the year, this definitely would have been higher up in my excitement rankings. I don't really have much to say about it because as cool as the stories were, the short runtimes did stifle the show a little bit. A lot of them were very well animated, and most of the episodes had interesting takes on traditional Star Wars stories. As someone who enjoys smuggler and pilot character types in Star Wars, there was a little too much focus on Jedi-specific stories for my liking. But the studios had free reign to make a story, and I don't blame them for focusing on the most popular facet of the universe. 4 out of 7, pretty good. Anyways, let's move on to speculation.
Every day I wake up and I hope you're dead. Dead like if I can.
Why is this a thing? Like truly, honestly, why the hell? I like R2. I even like C-3PO in small doses. But having a whole story based on a droid that just beeps and boops and a walking Duolingo-ass nerd does not seem all that appealing. I will say I am proud of Disney for finally giving the fanbase the gay couple representation we've been clamoring for. This story is gonna be a movie where Simon and Garfunkel here go on a mission with a new droid. That's all we know and that's all we have to know. It doesn't seem very interesting. Anyways, next!
Buzz Lightyear of Star Command!
Okay, so this one's in a very similar vein to Bad Batch where Dave Filoni is just trying shit. But at least this one seems a little interesting. It's also really funny that he himself is one of the Rangers. Also, I'd really like to see what kind of missions the New Republic would go on after Palpatine was defeated. What do you mean it was cancelled? Like the whole thing? Well, apparently the show got cancelled because Gina Carano got cancelled herself. Whatever, Cara Dune was an annoying ass character and we got that Gina Carano pack in the air. Rest in piss, Bozo, you will not be missed. Okay, this is my mandatory hot take during a Star Wars video. The Book of Boba Fett is really annoying to me. I've had mixed feelings about the resurgence of Boba Fett, but when they pushed Mando Season 3 back a whole year just to put Boba in a little side mission, it was the last straw for me. I'm glad they're finally justifying Boba Fett being an interesting character because he literally died on accident. It's a large part of the reason I don't really like Return of the Jedi.
Oops!
However, shelving the first new property that finally had people excited about new Star Wars stories just to rehash a character like they always do is hustling backwards in a way that only Star Wars can. I'm not the first one to say that there's literally no reason to really love the character of Boba Fett in the original trilogy, but it's fucking true. All he does is stand there menacingly and have a cool ship. Literally any of these bounty hunters could have caught Han and died in the Sarlacc pit, but because his armor looked cool and Star Wars fans are big fucking nerds, they couldn't let him go. And I was not immune to this either. In elementary school, I stole this Star Wars encyclopedia from my school library, and even though I was not very exposed to the original trilogy at the time, I was drawn to his character. Also, for legal reasons, I didn't actually steal that book, and it's definitely not somewhere in my family's garage. Either way, I'm glad Boba is finally getting his redemption, but bringing back dead people and making them matter more is getting really old. Is Boba Fett taking over Jabba's position as head bitch in charge a great idea? Of course it is, but where is he? Is he okay? Is Grogu okay? Don't emotionally invest me if you're just gonna run back to your little action figures from 40 years ago and play with them instead. I can't wait until 10 years from now when everybody decides that Captain Phasma was cool and they force a story making her cool instead of exploring new ideas. Anyways, whatever, the show looks cool and I'm sure I'll love it. I'm a hypocrite and I hate myself. Next show.
Kill him. Kill him now. Do it.
Putting a show that has damn near no information about it ahead of one of the most beloved Star Wars characters is certainly a take, but like I said, this is my echo chamber and people on the internet are pretty tame about Star Wars anyway, so I'm sure I'll be fine. This show will be one of the first canon stories that takes place before the start of the Skywalker saga. This show has only been billed as a murder mystery that takes place during the end of the High Republic. As I mentioned earlier, I don't have an extensive knowledge in the Legends books, so I don't know that much about this era. That, as well as the fact that this is a whodunit, which is very different to all the hero's journey-ass stories that take place in this series, make this show seem like it'll tickle my tiny lizard brain. I enjoy new things. Literally any new ideas are welcome. No more Skywalkers, please.
I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old. You're not the only one who lost everything.
So this is a show I actually wanted to place higher, but I don't think I can because everything else after this just has much larger aspirations. But as a brown man myself, I must stand the brown kings that serve as pillars of this franchise. To be fair, I thoroughly enjoyed Rogue One when it came out, and it's probably the Star Wars movie I've gone out of my way to watch the most since it came out. It's a little hypocritical to say I want new ideas and come back to something that's technically part of the Skywalker saga, but something about having these characters that are smaller pieces to what ultimately saves the galaxy is just really cool to me. Also, I've always loved how Rogue One looked aesthetically. Diego Luna didn't have a whole lot to do in that movie despite having like the second most screen time, so retroactively making Cassian a more interesting character is cool to see. This show is being billed as a spy thriller, and as we all know, Andor has been in this fight since he was 6 years old, so I expect to see him be pretty competent gaining intel on the Empire or whatever he has to do. A show like this is what street level heroes are to comic books, and sometimes that shit can be way more interesting than the main storyline. Also, this takes place during a point in time where you can interact with a lot of other important characters. Speaking of which,
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
I honestly don't think Disney can fuck this one up, to be fair. They already got Ewan McGregor and he's a great Obi-Wan. I'm a little worried about Hayden Christensen coming back because his acting since Revenge of the Sith has been a little...
What's the matter? You, afraid you might get wet?
Hey, yo!
Yeah, I don't know how he's gonna play Vader, and I hope they kinda just chop and screw his voice to make him sound like James Earl Jones. Hopefully they don't bank too much on him selling Vader because I'm not sure he can. It is still cool that he's involved though.
Mr. Bustin' with happiness seeing you again, Annie.
Hey, yo!
Considering most of Star Wars media kinda makes it seem like Obi-Wan just fucked off to Tatooine and did nothing until Luke grew up, I'm super juiced to see what kind of wacky stuff he gets into. Also, I just want to bring up a continuity error that has always been mind-boggling to me. So Luke is 19 years old in A New Hope, right? Why the hell did Obi-Wan age like milk? My man went from looking like this to being geriatric as hell in 20 years. It just doesn't really make sense. Either way, if you love Star Wars, you kinda have to love Obi-Wan. He's so integral to what original trilogy and prequel fans know about the culture of the Jedi, and Clone Wars just takes that and multiplies it by 10. This show is gonna go crazy, I can't wait. So this pick is like super contingent on what they decide to do with the show and whether or not they can bring in Donald Glover to reprise his role as Lando. I'm a huge fan of Donald Glover, the musician, the producer, and the actor, so when he first got cast as Lando, I was so excited I ate a whole pizza.
I went and got a large cheese pizza and then went home and watched Empire Strikes Back.
I read the Lando comic miniseries when it came out in 2015 and it made me like the character more than I already did when I saw Empire Strikes Back as a kid. The structure of what this show could be is what's really interesting to me. You could make Lando a smuggler story, but that's a little too on the nose. You could even make it a political story since he was essentially the equivalent of a president in Cloud City. If you want to get really weird with it, you could even make it a world poker tour where he just goes around to random planets and hustles people in games of sabacc. Whatever this show is, I'm all for it.
I'm assigned to Anakin Skywalker, and he is to supervise my Jedi training.
Just like Kenobi, the show is a pretty boring pick for this spot, but they're the two shows about Force-sensitive characters that a lot of people care about. It would be weird if I wasn't excited for them. If you watched Clone Wars, you watched Ahsoka grow up from a Padawan to a very powerful character. It's cool too because she doesn't even have to operate within the dumbass Jedi codes because she distanced herself from the Order a long ass time ago at this point. Honestly, if you want to be excited about this show, just watch the last 4 episodes of Clone Wars. Those episodes are so good at building tension and showing how badass Ahsoka is at that point, and Darth Vader was literally her mentor. I don't need to make an argument for how interesting this show is gonna be. I'm not really sure how I feel about Rosario Dawson's performance as her so far, but to be fair, the majority of the time you see Ahsoka animated, she's much younger than she is in this show. Considering Ahsoka is Dave Filoni's brainchild, I'm sure he has a great vision for where he wants to take her character. Also, the fight choreography they've had for her character has been so good in other shows that if it's like 8 episodes of just that, I'll be happy.
It's time for the moment you've been waiting for. The
The show I'm most excited for is Mando Season 3. I know you could already tell that and I don't care. I want to know what's going on with my boys and this is literally my favorite show. It was definitely annoying that they had Luke show up, as cool as it was at the time. It just makes the galaxy far far away feel really fucking tiny. It's like any force sensitive person in the universe can't wipe their own ass without Luke poking his head in out of nowhere and seeing if he can make it about himself. Also, the way they've written Mando and Grogu's relationship had me so invested, and this goddamn ugly ass CGI replicant stole that all away from me. I don't want to talk about it too much here because I'm sure I'm going to make a full video about The Mandalorian at some point. I am pretty excited to see what happens after all that, and having Mando do some bounty hunter stuff on his own for a bit could be pretty cool too. But if anything happens to either of them, I won't stop crying and throwing up until they retcon it. I can't wait for it, but those assholes at Disney are making me wait 2 whole years to find out, and it's not fucking fair. God damn it, I hate Disney. I hate them so much. By the way, look at this cool lightsaber I built at Batuu in Disneyland. The process of building your own lightsaber was so crazy and fully immersive, I loved it. Even if I was too dumb to do it properly and needed help even when the kids in my group didn't. God damn it, I folded. I hate myself, I let them win. God damn, I hate Disney, but they have Star Wars. Well, that's the end of my rankings and my rants. I like to make fun of Star Wars a lot because it's really stupid, but I love the universe and the movies so much that I don't even really think about how much better it could be. Also, by the way, The Rise of Skywalker isn't that bad, it was just really stupid. And also, it introduced Babu Frick, so I don't have any issues. Anyways, bye.